Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. Inside Xiangjia city. Everything had turned dull and grey. Countless creatures had lost their life force, living like puppets. The woman in green was the only splash of color in this world, as she walked through the city, carefully observing everything. Although I have also learned quite a bit of information about Luo He, it is still clearer to see it with my own eyes. The woman in green arrived at the garrison mansion, somewhat surprised. Luo He really conceals his life force tightly. As I walked by, I couldn't see any trace of his past. A transcendence of primal chaos realm, his concealment of life force is more powerful than many in the first realm of Godly King, the woman in green admired. Indeed, the land of origin possessed some abilities to peer into the past, but while peering into the past of ordinary people was easy, it became more difficult with the stronger the individual. The woman in green was capable of observing the majority of those in the first realm of Godly King. The space-time around her twisted. The woman in green instantly returned from the past to the present, and everything around her regained its color, becoming vivid. This timeline was the one where countless creatures truly existed. Great Saint Luo He, the woman in green stood outside the garrison mansion, smiling as she spoke. Her voice naturally transmitted inside, and the guards at the entrance of the garrison mansion couldn't see the woman in green standing before them at all. Inside the garrison mansion, Luo Feng was enjoying drinks and a casual chat with Morosa, who had just finished digesting a godly king's body, feeling quite content. Great Saint Luo He, a voice echoed around them. Luo Feng and Morosa both jolted. Only at this moment had they noticed the woman in green outside the garrison mansion. Morosa was secretly astonished and transmitted a message. Master, I can easily sense the vast surroundings of Xiangjia city. I should be able to detect any strong individual approaching, but I had absolutely no awareness of her. After all, she is the Empress of Fengdu, from the East Extreme Domain. Luo Feng realized who the woman in green at the garrison mansion was and naturally knew her identity. Her strength should be close to that of a pinnacle sector beast, right? Morosa communicated telepathically. More or less, Luo Feng guessed as well. You go back first, I'll meet with her. Luo Feng personally made his way to the entrance of the garrison mansion. The guards at the entrance likewise couldn't see Luo Feng. When Luo Feng walked outside, he looked at the woman in green standing there, who seemed to stand apart from the entire world. Luo He pays respects to the Empress of Fengdu. Luo Feng bowed slightly. To create a secret technique, and become absolutely the first in the primal chaos realm, the woman in green looked at Luo Feng and praised with a smile, indeed extraordinary. It's been a long time since such an impressive junior has appeared in the land of origin. Luo Feng replied with a smile, no matter how impressive, I'm still just someone from the primal chaos realm. Won't you invite me to sit inside? The woman in green asked with a smile. Please, Luo Feng said. He immediately led the way. Given the friendly demeanor of the Empress of Fengdu, Luo Feng naturally reciprocated with warmth. In the garrison mansion, within a pavilion for receiving guests, they sat opposite each other. Luo Feng personally poured wine for her. The Empress of Fengdu, one of the 12 emperors from the natives of the East Extreme Domain, and terrifyingly powerful, Luo Feng understood the information about her well. The natives had occupied most of the land of origin in the earliest times. The natives were the sovereigns of the land of origin. At that time, the two ancient countries had very sparse clans and occupied only a very remote and small part of the land. Back then, among the natives that dominated the land of origin, there were individuals called divine emperors, a total of 12 who had held the title. At that time, the creatures of the land of origin were generally very weak, with few cultivators from the 3000 primordial cosmos coming through reincarnation to the land of origin. These 12 divine emperors, judging by current standards of strength, were only just becoming godly kings. But as the eras passed, the territories of the natives had been greatly reduced, shrunk only to the area of East Extreme Domain. And the original 12 emperors, who had become godly kings in a short period in the early times, were now all in the second realm of Godly King. Among them, the Empress of Fengdu was the most enigmatic. In the land of origin, godly kings in the second realm, those who can battle with emperors and monarchs, and are almost on equal footing, are few and far between. The Empress of Fengdu is one of them. Ordinary individuals in the second realm of godly king would be no match for emperors and monarchs. They'd likely be obliterated on the first strike. Yet the Empress of Fengdu was in existence almost equal to emperors and monarchs. Morosa thought, this Empress of Fengdu must be close to a pinnacle sector beast. Based on the information, this Empress of Fengdu has cultivated both the origin Tao of the world and the time primordial Tao to the second realm of godly king. Her cultivation inheritance remains unknown, Luo Feng inwardly sighed. With inheritance at the perfection level or special grade, it wouldn't be difficult for someone with the exceptional talents of the Empress of Fengdu to obtain them. Moreover, the natives of the East Extreme Domain have a mysterious ancestor watching over them. That ancestor naturally values the Empress of Fengdu with her highest talents. The status of the Empress of Fengdu in the land of origin is thus imaginable. Even as a godly king, Luo Feng's gap with her remained very large. Not to mention that he was currently only in the primal chaos realm. Her friendliness surprised Luo Feng somewhat. Luo He, I've come here to invite you to join the organization I've created, Reincarnation Tower, the woman in green said as she looked at Luo Feng. Although I founded the Reincarnation Tower, all members are equal. I believe you've also heard about the Reincarnation Tower. Reincarnation Tower. Luo Feng had certainly heard of it. The Reincarnation Tower was a more niche power, much smaller in scale than the Two Realms Palace. That's because each formal member of the Reincarnation Tower was personally selected and invited by the Empress of Wind City, making them naturally rare. Yet, the reputation of the Reincarnation Tower was on par with the Two Realms Palace, Wanfa Tower, and Time-Space Lonely Boat. There are very few members in our Reincarnation Tower, the woman in green said, but each of them is quite remarkable. Do I qualify to enter the Reincarnation Tower? Luo Feng asked. He feared he would be at the bottom in terms of strength. Don't underestimate yourself, the woman in green looked at Luo Feng. Across the entire land of origin, you are a very impressive cultivator. Oh? Luo Feng was startled. Luo Feng certainly knew his own uniqueness. He had enslaved a sector beast, and with a pinnacle sector beast at his command, he could raise a powerful army and establish a god-king power in the future. Furthermore, Luo Feng himself had a perfect divine body, unlike any ever seen in the land of origin, and his small universe was beyond any other cultivators. Compared to these, the Lai Yuan technique was somewhat lesser. After all, there were others besides Luo Feng who possessed inheritances left by Yuan. Luo Feng was well aware of his uniqueness, but he had always kept it secret. Now, this Empress of Wind City saw such potential in him. But however high your talents, you still need resources to cultivate, the woman in green said. Like top inheritances, various rare treasures for assistance. Luo Feng agreed. Whether it was the 8 Tribulations life form, that extermination of 72 blades, or even more precious inheritances in the infinite space like the world life form, they were all of great help to him. The inheritances you've encountered so far are probably only of the first realm of godly king, the woman in green said. The more precious the inheritances become, the more restricted they are. Some rare treasures, some powerful primordial bloodlines, are even harder to come by. A complete inheritance left by Yuan, even more difficult to obtain. A weapon that surpasses the God King realm is enough to start a war between two ancient countries. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng. Do you think you'll get them just because you have high talent? You don't feel it strongly now, because you can still compete for some of the peripheral resources left by Yuan. But the more precious the resources, eventually you won't even have the qualifications to contend for them. Luo Feng fell silent. His master, Emperor Chu, had admitted as much. Have you heard of godly King Luo He? The woman in green looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was taken aback. You haven't heard, right? The woman in green said with a smile. Places like Flame Wind Pavilion and Thunderclap Commerce will not spread such information, and they might even try to cover it up. Godly King Luo, he was fully committed to the flame-wind ancient country, a godly king who even advanced to the second realm of Godly King, the woman in green continued. He dedicated himself to the flame-wind ancient country, never complaining. Even though the imperial clan received far more resources than he didn't mind, he was satisfied. He had a wife, 3 sons and 2 daughters. He didn't wish to get involved in too many disputes, only wanting to nurture his children and focus on his cultivation. He believed that through dedicated cultivation, he could reach even higher realms, the woman in green said. He was grateful to his master, Emperor Xian, for his assistance. But his talent was too high, and he managed to refine a powerful secret treasure left in the land of origin by Yuan, which was a weapon beyond the God King realm. With this secret treasure, he, being at the second realm of Godly King, could confront emperors and monarchs. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng, but what happened next? During a mission for the flame-wind ancient country, he used this weapon's secret treasure just once. Only once. 3 emperors acted at the same time. They forced him to hand over the secret treasure, threatening to slaughter his wife and children, his kin if he refused. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng, accustomed to retreating, used to suffering, he still endured. He handed over the secret treasure. Luo Feng sighed inwardly. In the moment of surrendering it, the woman in green smiled. The 3 emperors attacked. His wife, his children, his kin, and even all creatures in the entire city. All were slaughtered without exception. Godly King Luo, he was also killed, the woman in green smiled. His master, Emperor Xian, learned of this later. But by then it was too late. Fortunately, Godly King Luo, he was strong enough that before death, he managed to use the reincarnation secret technique. He reincarnated, the woman in green said. But when emperors act, his wife, his children, his kin, none had a chance at reincarnation. After his reincarnation, he is now known as Emperor Gui Shu, the woman in green said as she looked at Luo Feng. Search the novelia.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Luo Feng was shocked. Emperor Gui Shu. So it was him. Emperor Gui Shu, who called himself emperor, was still slightly inferior to an actual emperor. But he seemed to have a blood feud with the imperial clan of the flame-wind ancient country, constantly in conflict and never ceasing. The flame-wind ancient country's godly kings that died at the hands of Emperor Gui Shu numbered 7 or 8 as well. Emperor Gui Shu is a member of my reincarnation tower, the woman in green said. I established the reincarnation tower because I hoped that as comrades, we could support each other and transcend this reincarnation era. And I think you also have what it takes to be an official member of my reincarnation tower. So far, there are a total of 8 members in the reincarnation tower. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng. You are the 9th I have set my sights on, and the only one from the primal chaos realm I've invited to date. Luo Feng smiled at the woman in blue. Senior Feng, do thinks too highly of me. Reincarnation Tower is prestigious in the land of origin, and I believe its members must far surpass me in strength. Of the current 8 members, 1 is invincible in the first realm of Godly King, and 7 are in the second realm of Godly King, the woman in blue admitted. The gap between them and me is huge, Luo Feng remarked. Would you like to join then? The woman in blue asked Luo Feng. You should have confidence that you will soon become invincible in the first realm of Godly King. Luo Feng did not reply immediately, but thought for a moment and asked, Senior Fengdu, could you tell me about the rules of Reincarnation Tower? The woman in blue replied, I merely established the organization of the Reincarnation Tower. All members inside are absolutely equal, and everyone knows each other's identities. If there is an action to be taken, members may invite others to join. Whether others participate is entirely voluntary. Whether members have a friendly or hostile relationship, nobody can intervene. But Reincarnation Tower has 2 core rules. First, no one may disclose the identity of other members. Second, nobody who participates in an action initiated by a member may betray them, and those who refuse to participate may not disclose it. These are the rules. Once you join, you must abide by them. The woman in blue looked at Luo Feng. to violate them is to breach the great causality, becoming the common enemy of all other members. Luo Feng understood. Do not leak identities, do not betray. Pretty simple. If it's just these two rules, I'm willing to join, Luo Feng said. After all, through the long years, Reincarnation Tower had maintained a good reputation in the land of origin, unlike the powers established by alien races such as Two Realms Palace, Wanfa Tower, or Time-Space Lonely Boat. Moreover, Empress Feng Du's reputation was also very good, and both ancient countries regarded her favorably. The reputation of Reincarnation Tower and Empress Feng Du was indeed the reason Luo Feng was willing to join. Indeed, following the guidance from his master mountain-sitting guest, after becoming a godly king, one would naturally join some factions. Welcome to join us, the woman in blue said with a radiant smile, flipping her hand to bring out a token. With this token, a mere thought can take you into Reincarnation Tower. I will convene the other members to warmly welcome the new member. Luo Feng received the token. With this token, you can also contact the other 8 members, the woman in blue said. Luo Feng sensed that besides descending into Reincarnation Tower, the token could only contact the 8 members. A towering figure stood between heaven and earth, his body nearly occupying 1/3 of the entire land. Black winds howled, sharpening his skin, imbuing his blue-black skin with a fearsome aura. In this world, only 2 old servants were present besides him. The towering figure suddenly opened his eyes, his dark yellow eyes showing a bit of surprise. Feng Du invited a new member. Reincarnation Tower finally has a new member again. Come, drink, drink. In a large hall, a young man indulged in drinking, surrounded by many friends. Younger brother, you are highly talented, but you should still devote some effort to cultivation, said a muscular man with scale armor, a tail, and horns stepping forward to advise him. Constant indulgence like this will make it hard to escape when calamity strikes. Cultivation, the drunken young man glanced at his friend. Big brother, what is cultivation for anyway? Once you become powerful and reach the primal chaos realm, you can truly dominate. You can easily control the fate of an entire primal chaos prefecture, the muscular man explained. I don't care about dominating anyone's fate. Being able to control my own fate is pretty good. Ha ha ha, my eyes, ears and senses, that's all I need, the drunken young man laughed. Don't be too greedy, enjoying fine wine is already wonderful enough. Sigh, the muscular man did not continue to persuade. The drunken young man suddenly became aware. Oh, Feng Du invited a new member. I wonder who the new member is. The drunken young man's eyes held a trace of depth. He chose reincarnation to sever the tangle of causality, and to gain some freedom. However, after his reincarnation, he was still in contact with Empress Feng Du, and had rejoined Reincarnation Tower. Reincarnation Tower was the only faction he still trusted. The members of Reincarnation Tower had never betrayed him. Let's check out the new member. The drunken young man used the token, and with a thought, he had already headed to Reincarnation Tower. Beyond the land of origin was the boundless universe ocean. At the edge of the continent, a vast expanse of universe ocean was engulfed in endless poisonous fog, which spread far and continued to accumulate over time. At the center of the poisonous fog was a gigantic creature with numerous claws possessing a golden eye. Reincarnation Tower finally has a new member. The new member chosen by Feng Du must be extraordinary. The massive creature, too, entered Reincarnation Tower with a thought. Soon, the members joined one after another. Luo Feng, using a token, descended upon the Reincarnation Tower for the first time. It was a pavilion condensed from illusions. Stepping into this pavilion, Luo Feng instantly saw 8 figures already seated inside, which made him, the new member, the last to arrive. Luo, he has arrived, said the Queen of Wind Capital, smiling at Luo Feng. The other 7 also looked at Luo Feng curiously, all appearing very friendly. Luo Feng saw these 7, and since they weren't concealing themselves in any way, he recognized them immediately, which startled him. What a reincarnation tower, Luo Feng thought. No wonder it previously only had 8 members, yet its fame could rival that of the Two Realms Palace. Here in the Reincarnation Tower, all members treat each other as equals and can address each other by name, declared the Queen of Wind Capital. Luo He, from now on, you are our 9th member. Luo He, a burly figure, raised his cup and smiled amiably. He was Emperor Gui Shu. Luo He, the number 1 of Primal Chaos Realm, I have long heard of your name. To invite you here, you must be even more remarkable than the outsiders say, said a huge, plump man with a laugh. His smile held a subtle magic that naturally made other creatures feel warmly toward him. He was the direct disciple of the Lord of 10,000 Realms, the great Freedom Sovereign. Luo He, I am Wu Xin, a young man said with a smile to Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled and nodded, Brother Wu Xin. Wu Xin. He had once been a godly king and a guest elder of the Flame-Wind ancient country, never fully joining it, just an ordinary guest elder. As his strength grew, and after reaching the 2nd realm of godly king, he too began to compete for some resources. Because the resources obtained were so precious, he suffered multiple assassination attempts by the Flame-Wind ancient country. After several attempts on his life, Wu Xin eventually died in battle. There was no choice, if I didn't die, the Flame-Wind ancient country wouldn't stop. So I had to reincarnate, so they couldn't trace my causality, the young man explained. You are currently only in the Primal Chaos Realm, lacking resources they'd covet. Once you're strong enough, you'll see how ugly the faces of those emperors of Flame-Wind are. Luo Feng smiled faintly. Thank you for the reminder, Brother Wu Xin. Of the 8 present members, 2 had deep grudges with the Flame-Wind ancient country, namely Emperor Gui Shu and Wu Xin God King. Both had once been guest elders. Emperor Gui Shu had even been a direct disciple of Emperor Xian. Their grievances were real, and Luo Feng understood Wu Xin's point, he meant it sincerely. Yet, although there were many rumors, Luo Feng knew that some of the emperors and godly kings in the Flame-Wind ancient country were indeed tyrannical. But at least for now, the Flame-Wind ancient country, and he bore no grudges. On the contrary, his relationship with Emperor Chu Yu, his bond with his mentor Emperor Chu, and his connection with Emperor Ming. Luo Feng cherished all of these. Favors are favors, grudges are grudges. Emperor Chu and Emperor Ming had shown him kindness, so Luo Feng couldn't just turn on the Flame-Wind ancient country, because of a few words from other cultivators. Luo He, a man in white robes, nodded at Luo Feng with a smile. King Shandu, Luo Feng also nodded. King Shandu, the direct disciple of the primogenitor Yang Feng. In the realm of 2nd realm godly king, although he was a godly king and a guest in the Flame-Wind ancient country, his status was still quite high. The emperors of the Flame-Wind treated King Shandu with quite a bit of respect. The material for his first triune form came from a pet of King Shandu. Luo Feng and the several members present all exchanged simple greetings. Of the 8 members, the Queen of Wind capital hailed from the East Extreme Domain, and Great Freedom Sovereign came from the Wanjie Kingdom. Emperor Gui Shu, Wu Xin God King, and King Shandu all had ties to the Flame-Wind ancient country. Cloud Sky God King, an invincible 1st realm godly king, had been a guest elder in the Thunder ancient country. He once lost control while cultivating the primordial bloodline, and killed a godly king of the Thunder ancient country, forcing him to flee. Black Fire Demon Lord, a guest elder and 2nd realm godly king from the Thunder ancient country, turned against the country completely in his quest to seize resources to become a monarch. Interestingly, the Thunder ancient country had valued him highly, but due to his incessant failures to acquire the resources to become a monarch, he had turned against them. His reputation in the land of origin was also quite favorable. S-Tilda-Ea the Oval Fire.et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Earth God King, Luo Feng looked at the muscular man seated there, who, with a wide smile, raised his cup to Luo Feng. Luo Feng reciprocated with a raised glass, yet he understood in his heart. In the entire Reincarnation Tower, in terms of strength, it was the Queen of Wind capital, and this Earth God King, who were the strongest. Earth God King, also a godly king risen from the lower ranks, once a guest elder of the Thunder ancient country. His exceptional talent was brilliant and dazzling. Because of his talent, he even obtained numerous resources left by Yuan, which provoked the Thunder ancient country. But due to his formidable strength, and despite several monarchs attacking him simultaneously, he boldly escaped. From then on, Earth God King and the Thunder Ancient Country were estranged. Though a second realm godly king, Earth God King could still confront monarchs of the Thunder Ancient Country, his power almost matching theirs. A single reincarnation tower, equivalent to the tier of emperors, actually houses two. Luo Feng marveled inwardly, no wonder it has such a grand reputation. This gathering to welcome the new member was also a chance for everyone to get acquainted. Except for the somewhat reticent Earth God King, the other members chatted with Luo Feng for a while, all of them becoming quite familiar. Now, in the reincarnation tower, my strength is the weakest. Even if they plan any actions, it wouldn't be suitable to involve me, Luo Feng understood. After becoming a godly king, his strength would have to surge before he could participate in some actions. This video will end here.